ponderous, but he is never Philistine either. Thrilling Cities is a triple memorial to an immortal character of fiction, to a time of history, and to a fine and fastidious writer of English prose, as P.G. Wodehouse is to the comic novel, perhaps, Ian Fleming is to the thriller. Jan Morris, 2009. Author's Note. There is very little to say as an introduction to this book that is not self-evident from its title, but there are one or two comments I would like to make on its origins. These are 13 essays on some of the thrilling cities of the world, written for the Sunday Times in 1959 and 1960. 7 of them are about cities round the world, and 6 round Europe. They are what is known in publishing vernacular as mood pieces. They are, I hope, or were within their date, factually accurate, but they do not claim to be comprehensive, and such information as they provide is focused on the bizarre and perhaps the shadier side of life. All my life I have been interested in adventure, and, abroad, I have enjoyed the frisson of leaving the wide, well-lit streets and venturing up back alleys in search of the hidden, authentic pulse of towns. It was perhaps this habit that turned me into a writer of thrillers, and by the time I made the 2 journeys that produced these essays, I had certainly got into the way of looking at people and places and things through a thriller writer's eye. The essays entertained and sometimes scandalized the readers of the Sunday Times, and the editorial blue pencil scored through many a passage which has now been impurgated, if that is the opposite of expurgated, in the present text. There were suggestions that I should embody the 2 series in a book, but I was too busy or too lazy to take the step, until now, despite the warning of my friends that the essays would date. I do not think they have dated to any serious extent, and rereading them, they seem, to me at any rate, to retain such freshness as they ever possessed. The cities may have changed minutely, this or that restaurant may have disappeared, a few characters have died, but I stick to the validity of the landscapes, painted with a broad and idiosyncratic brush, and I have embellished each chapter with stop-press indices of incidental intelligence, which should, since they were provided for the most part by foreign correspondents of the Sunday Times, be of value to the traveller of today. Nothing remains but to dedicate this biased, cranky, but at least zestful hodgepodge to my friends and colleagues on the Sunday Times in London and abroad, and particularly to a man called C.D., who pulled the trigger, and to Mr. Roy Thompson, who cheerfully paid for these very expensive and self-indulgent peregrinations. I.L.F. Chapter 1. Hong Kong. If you write thrillers, people think that you must live a thrilling life and enjoy doing thrilling things. Starting with these false assumptions, the editorial board of the Sunday Times repeatedly urged me to do something exciting and write about it. And, at the end of October 1959, they came up with the idea that I should make a round trip of the most exciting cities of the world and describe them in beautiful, beautiful prose. This could be accomplished, they said, within a month. Dubiously, I discussed this project with Mr. Leonard Russell, features and literary editor of the paper. I said it was going to be very expensive and very exhausting, and that one couldn't go round the world in 30 days and report either beautifully or accurately on great cities in approximately 3 days per city. I also said that I was the world's worst sightseer, and that I had often advocated the provision of roller skates at the doors of museums and art galleries. I was also, I said, impatient of lunching at government houses and of visiting clinics and resettlement areas. Leonard Russell was adamant. "We don't want that sort of thing," he said. "In your James Bond books, even if people can't put up with James Bond and those fancy heroines of yours, they seem to like the exotic backgrounds. Surely you want to pick up some more material for your stories. This is a